like memories that refused to settle, when Elias Ward realized how fragile a life could be. One ordinary day could carry the weight of an entire past, and one unexpected face could reopen wounds he believed time had sealed forever. He stood in the hallway of Crestwood Academy, surrounded by bulletin boards and lockers polished by routine, unaware that within minutes the woman he had loved, lost, and buried deep in his heart would walk back into his world, wearing a title powerful enough to change everything. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of love that survives time, pause for a moment. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Touch of Kindness, because stories like this remind us that the heart never forgets what truly matters. Elias had not planned to become a teacher. Life had nudged him there gently, the way a river nudges driftwood toward the shore. After college, dreams of writing and travel faded beneath responsibilities he could not ignore. His mother's illness had drained their savings, and Crestwood Academy offered stability when he needed it most. Over the years, he became the kind of teacher students trusted, not because he demanded respect, but because he offered patience. He arrived early every morning, stayed late grading papers, and used his lunch breaks to help students who felt unseen. Yet beneath his calm presence lived a quiet ache, a love story that ended without closure, without farewell, without explanation. Years ago, before Crestwood and responsibility, there was Maren Holloway. She was his first love, the kind that rewrites the meaning of forever. They met during a summer program, bonded over shared dreams and late afternoons, spent planning futures that felt limitless. She believed fiercely in ambition, in climbing high enough to change the world, while Elias believed in small kindnesses that changed individual lives. They balanced each other until life pulled them apart. Family pressure, financial realities, and an opportunity Maren could not refuse created distance, and distance grew into silence. The last message Elias sent went unanswered. Eventually, he learned to live with the belief that she had chosen a different life, one without him. Crestwood Academy itself mirrored Elias's journey. Once a struggling private school on the brink of closure, it survived through dedication rather than wealth. Teachers patched together outdated materials, classrooms carried the scent of old books, and the roof leaked during heavy rain. Elias loved it anyway, because it gave students a place where effort mattered more than privilege. Recently, however, rumors whispered through the hallways about a new corporate partnership, a new CEO who would reshape the school's future. Elias paid little attention. Leadership changed, but classrooms remained, and his focus stayed on the students seated in front of him each day. That morning, the principal asked all staff to gather in the auditorium after second period. The sun climbed higher, illuminating rows of worn seats as teachers filled the space. Elias sat quietly, notebook in hand, expecting another procedural announcement. The principal spoke about renewal, about investment, about vision, then stepped aside. When the new CEO walked onto the stage, Elias felt something tighten in his chest before his mind could understand why. Her presence carried confidence shaped by years of struggle and success, yet her eyes held the same warmth he remembered. Maren Holloway stood before them, elegant in a tailored suit, sunlight catching strands of her hair like echoes of the past. Time folded in on itself. Elias's breath felt shallow as memories surged forward, vivid and uninvited. He noticed the way she paused, scanning the room, her gaze lingering just a second longer on him. The auditorium felt too small for the weight of what remained. Unspoken between them, Maren spoke about revitalizing Crestwood, about investing in teachers, about building a future rooted in compassion rather than profit alone. Her words resonated deeply, not only because of her authority, but because they mirrored values Elias thought she had abandoned. As days passed, Maren immersed herself in the school's rhythm. She visited classrooms during daylight hours, sat quietly at the back observing lessons, and walked the hallways speaking with students by name. Her leadership style surprised everyone. She listened more than she spoke, and when she spoke, it carried intention. Elias avoided her at first, keeping interactions polite and distant. He told himself that the past was finished, that reopening old wounds served no purpose. Yet every time their paths crossed, something stirred, an unresolved question echoing between them. Change came swiftly to Crestwood. Repairs began, resources arrived, and teacher salaries stabilized. But with change came resistance. Some parents accused the administration of abandoning tradition, while board members questioned Marin's compassionate approach. Pressure mounted, and whispers of budget cuts threatened programs Elias had built for struggling students. One afternoon, during a staff meeting filled with tension, Elias found himself speaking up, defending the programs not with anger, but with quiet conviction. He spoke of students who arrived hungry, of dreams sustained by encouragement rather than money. The room fell silent. Marin watched him with an expression that blended respect and something deeper, something personal. Later that day, sunlight streamed through the library windows as Marin reviewed reports. Elias approached, his steps hesitant but steady. The air between them felt heavy with years of unsaid words. Without speaking, they shared a moment of understanding. She had returned not as the ambitious girl chasing titles, but as a woman shaped by regret and growth. Elias realized that. While he had stayed behind, nurturing small lives, she had fought her own battles in boardrooms and cities that never slept. Both had paid a price for the paths they chose. Challenges intensified when a sudden funding freeze threatened Crestwood's future once more. The partnership Marin relied on pulled back, demanding measurable results or withdrawal. Teachers panicked, students sensed uncertainty, and the fragile hope built over months wavered. Elias watched Marin carry the weight alone, her confidence tested. He stayed late one evening, helping students finish projects, when he noticed her still working, daylight fading beyond the windows. He understood then that leadership was a lonely place, and kindness mattered most when offered without expectation. Over the following weeks, Elias and Marin worked side by side, collaborating on proposals, community outreach, and fundraising initiatives. Daytime meetings blurred into afternoons filled with shared purpose. Trust rebuilt slowly, not through grand gestures, but through consistency. Elias saw the woman who had never stopped caring, and Marin saw the man who had quietly become the heart of a community. Crestwood's story became their shared mission, a chance to heal old wounds by building something meaningful together. When the final decision arrived, it came with relief. Funding was secured through local partnerships, inspired by Crestwood's renewed vision. The school would not only survive, but thrive. Students celebrated, teachers cried, and sunlight seemed brighter in the hallways. Marin addressed the staff once more, speaking about resilience, gratitude, and the power of people who believe in each other. Her eyes